Hey guys, welcome to another episode in the deep playthrough of Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition. We are, I think, on our way
Powerful. Punch through any body
to the last region in the game.
It only had 8 bullets.
Novosibirsk or something.
And that just proved not enough.
Let's check what we have here. Let's build some preparations.
And I just couldn't.
Let's do some preparations.
So, I snipped and got all of them. Save for one. The fucker hit me
I had
hard.
some crossbow upgrades actually.
By the time the order
So,
people arrived,
this is a new one,
I was
pneumatic
half
bow
dead.
system.
Thought they were angels.
Speeds up the crossbow reloading process, increasing its rate of fire
Here's why I'm
considerably.
telling you this now. There are more of us now than I had bullets then.
Let's install it.
So, I'm sure we can take whatever
sights,
the world
normal.
throws at us and win.
I will just leave. We actually have an 8-bolt magazine as well. Let's go just with the 6 bolts. Laser is okay. And what do we have here? The Helsing, a silent revolving air gun that shoots metal bolts. Overpressurizing its tank increases power, but the extra pressure vents before long. T-car. What the hell is the Helsing? Ah, this is the Helsing. Overpressurizing its tank. Ah, so, and then if we... Pneumatic bow. And if we just do twin bow, let's see what it's called there, then. Yeah. Now it's also called the Helsing, but it says overpressurizing its tank. It doesn't have a tank now, it's just a regular bow, so I don't really understand the description compared to the weapon on screen. But whatever, let's go with the pneumatic system. It's clean, shotgun is clean, and we have a revolver. And the amount of bullets, 43 shotgun shells, that's good. 48 is max, I think. I have quite a lot of machine gun bullets and not that many pistol bullets. So maybe it's fun if we just, to mix it up, change the pistol to not the Kalash, but the Bulldog, I think. And maybe just mix it up totally. Let's go with the Shambler for a shotgun. Because this shotgun I've been using almost throughout the whole game. Let's just go for something different. This one. And yeah, I will just, let's see about the different stocks. Semi-grip stocks, more stability. Heavy stock is a lot more stability. And again, it doesn't really seem to have any drawback. It only increases stability. There's nothing that becomes less. But I'm going to go with this one because I don't really like that front grip. Just from an aesthetical point of view. Let's go with this one. Short barrel, suppressor, duck bill choke for diverting the spread pattern. A long barrel has a damage boost and accuracy boost, but less handling. So I'm going to go with short barrel. Iron sights is fine. Then we have 3 bullets. We have best reload speed and rate of fire. And we have 10 rounds of ammunition. I am going to go with the fixed cylinder. This one. And that about wraps it up. And then for the other gun, we will be swapping it out for the Bulldog. That's the improved version of the Kalash. Well, actually, the pistol that we have is I don't really understand. To the bottom left, you see like the stats changing, but I wonder compared to what? What gun? If I go, okay, that's just the revolver. So I don't really, that is because this is also the revolver. So you would think that it's the same stats. This is a revolver, and over here as well, it should have the same stats, but the rate of fire of this one is lower. But that is probably because the one in the menu at the top left, bottom left, is actually the base revolver, and the one I have here is actually upgraded with a bigger, how do you call it, cylinder and stuff. So, but anyways, if I go to the Bulldog, actually really has much lower stability, less damage, and actually a slower rate of fire. So it's almost like the revolver is better to have than the Bulldog. So for now, I think I will just keep the revolver. I do like it a lot. It's small, it packs a punch, so let's just create some more revolver bullets. Here we go. Do I also need to clean weapons? No, they're all clean. So I have enough, I don't need any fluid for that. Holy shit, I can make quite a lot of bullets. 82 should get us underway pretty good. And yeah, I would have loved to make some Molotov cocktails. I can maybe make one. Let's just make one. And we're good to go. For any armored enemies that we might encounter, Molotovs are super effective against those. Alright, and we have a checkpoint or save point. The only thing is, since in the previous episode, I went through all the NPCs here and heard all their stories, but there was no save point after that since I quit the game yesterday. So the current save point is actually loaded up with me not having exhausted all those NPC dialogues. So I did, yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, I recorded it in the previous episodes, but maybe he's not here yet. I do think I'm quickly going through the dialogue again a bit. I already, before I started this episode, quickly ran past a couple of NPCs. They did do a bit of dialogue already, but just so that in the next autosave that the game, that it's marked off. That I'm not sure whether that has any impact on the ending. I doubt it, but at least for a thorough playthrough. There is Crest coming actually. He also has dialogue in his own car, so let's just follow him. It is more that I would like to have it baked into my save as well, that I did exhaust all the dialogue on the train. So, although it's already in the previous episodes, I quickly listened to a couple of stories.
So, bratucha, up for a smoke, I see. I remember if I already told you about this. We're about the kind of people I would meet. And that the further I'd go, the less people were good. So here's what my take on this is now, bratucha. I just wasn't lucky. And now with you and the others here, I figure I just hit a jackpot with so many good people together. Take Duke for one. He keeps boasting about how he's going to shoot enemies up, all that. In fact, when you two were at that bridge, he didn't kill the cultist. Didn't even shoot that Silantius, and that is a shot I'd take in a heartbeat. So, what does that make him? A kind guy, that's what, yeah. Or Damir, visiting his homeland was his dream, right? When he got there, he met a nice girl. We took the parent bastard down. What else do you need? Just marry the girl, find a good place to settle, and have a nice life there. No, Damir stayed in that desert to fight for freedom of his people. That's the caliber of a man he is. Alyosha too. I thought he was kinda rudderless, but he found the love of his life, imagine that? And did he stay with her? No. He cares for you and Anna enough to leave the girl and come with us to Siberia. It's gonna be a while before he sees his Olga again. So here's the main point. Bratucha, if you and the Colonel have people like this coming with you, this means our cause is right and we can take anything on. Don't it?
Alright, that was Crest. Then we have Tokarev over here, but he was already doing his dialogue while I was changing the weapon loadout. Then we have Idiot over here in the thing, and he also already did his dialogue.
I bet you'd find a way to make it a boring chore.
But he's now
Like at that
finishing
bridge,
it.
with the targets lined up like in a shooting gallery. But no, you had to spare those loons. In any case, if you need any help out there, just call us over.
Alright, that was his dialogue. Then we have Alyosha and
A third
Katja.
of the valley is already polluted with radiation. All the fallout was accumulating at the bottom of the reservoir for years and years. And now it's seeping through. Yet if the dam fails, I hope they listen to my advice.
Do you love her?
Yes.
If it is fate, you'll meet her again, definitely. Well, I'll go check up on Anna.
Sure. Tell her I said hi.
Alright, Katja will just go to Anna. You cannot really talk with them anymore. Alyosha is in his own thoughts. Then we have Colonel Miller. I always forget the train driver's name. Yernek or something. Yerinek. We can see it later in the journal, because that's the other part I will do in this episode, is quickly see any new entries in the journal, and also all the NPC names are in there. These two also had some dialogue, but not really a lot, and also not super interesting, and they already did it. Apparently they're quiet now. Colonel Miller as well, and your neck was talking with Crest earlier, and I think we missed that one, but that's also a goner. And then you have Sam all the way up front, and he also already started talking.
When the colonel took me from that crowd, women and children beat me up. I was scared. I couldn't raise my hands. I'm not a beast. No, I sure was strong then. Thank you for thinking of those poor souls in the Deadlands. I'm not a believer, but if there was a God, he'd never let this happen. I'd still like to believe that kindness will come back to you. Good luck, brother.
Alright, that was Sam's dialogue. going to do. That pretty much wraps it up. All the dialogue. Let's quickly read the journal and then head on out. And also quickly listen to the radio. How did that work again? Like so.
Tomsk, do not leave shelters without a specific order. Do not use water from open bodies of water. Do not walk on unpaved roads. The railroad can only be used by trains equipped with air filtration systems. Do not use any other railroad vehicles, regardless of the state of the tracks, due to extreme radioactive pollution. All citizens leaving their shelters as ordered are to proceed to designated evacuation hubs immediately for urgent decontamination. I repeat, the following cities are declared off limits until special notice due to extreme radioactive pollution. Barnaul, Birsk, Kemerov, Novokuznetsk, Novosibirsk, Tomsk.
Alright, Novosibirsk is where we are headed. But that's not really good, super radioactive.
Fine here. Over. Come in, Alder. Do you read me? Over. Alder, you missed 12 communication windows already. Situation here is nominal. Nothing to report. Over. Colonel Klevnikov, do you read me? Please come in. Dad, please. Come in. Over. Alder, this is fine. I can't keep the receiver on for too long. We'll be back for the next agreed window. Over. Dad, please, come back. Over. Fine. Over and out.
Poor guy. Alright, we have some music over there. And that's the only music station. Alright, and let's reach... Oh, wrong button. Let's quickly read the new entries. These are all olds. And we just came from the Caspian. Maybe down below there may be a new entry. Yeah, this is all I think old. Already read it in the previous episode. seeing if I recognize it, and I do. One second. Alright, this was an old one, sorry. This is a new one, I guess. Fanatics on the bank of the Volga. Cannibals in the mountain. Mountain bunker. Slaves on the shores of the dried out sea. How many monsters? No, we already read this as well. Yes, this should be a new one. I can't say I've ever been religious, but right now I'm begging all gods, please watch over Anna and make the valley cure her of her affliction. In the meantime, Alyosha and I are on a recon mission. We have no idea what is waiting for us there. Though Alyosha seems convinced that there are going to be crowds of women eagerly anticipating his arrival. If that turns out to be the case, then I have the best companion possible for this mission. Well, Alyosha, with whom we were sent on a mission to recon the valley ahead, was marveling at the vistas and giddily anticipating the meetings with local women. I was begging all gods to make the valley air cure of her illness. My prayers had an unexpected effect, though. With a tired sigh, a considerable chunk of the valley side decided to slide down into the river, taking the rails and our rail car along with it. The water was ice cold and the current was so strong I had no chance fighting it. I ended up dropping my backpack and weapons, but still got dragged into some stones and hit my head. Having regained my senses and climbed out of the water, I decided to put as much distance between myself and the river as I could and entered the forest. After a short walk, I found a man tied up and left there so that the wolves could rip his guts out. He didn't look trustworthy, and those who had left him there could have been right, but it was simply too much. There must be some difference between people and wolves after all. Having cut the rope, I left immediately. I didn't want to make small talk with him, and it was a good call. Later I learned that the locals hated all intruders, and I could hardly blame them for that. Not far from the place where I woke up, there were ruins of a children's summer camp. Despite its sorry state, the camp was not completely abandoned, as there I walked into some locals. Luckily they didn't mistake me for a bandit and shoot me. Still, the way they warned me to not enter their turf was way too crass, and I took offense to that. Judging by their choice of words, they were out shopping for a fight, and this time they bought more than they bargained for. Perhaps I should have gone easier on them, but I had to cross their territory to get to my destination and didn't have time for convincing them to just let me through peacefully. Had I had a way of contacting the Aurora, I would have probably just arranged for proper negotiations, but my radio got drenched, and fixing it was a complete impossibility as both Tokarev and Crest remained on the Aurora. After some wandering in the forest, by the way, this section does seem to imply that I wouldn't say ruthless on them, but that I did pick a fight. While actually in this section, I did all I could to knock them out non-lethally, so I was hoping that would be good enough. But here it says I didn't have time for convincing them to just let me through peacefully. I should have gone easier on them. Yeah, I went pretty easy on them. I only knocked them out. I didn't kill any. But whatever. After some, I hope that this doesn't affect the ending of the game. because I want to play as the good guy. After some wandering in the forest, I managed to get caught in a primitive trap. Standing around a net that kept me suspended, my captors were discussing who would get my boots. They reminded me of kids too immersed in a game or something. These children of the forest were caught by the war in the camp, but managed to survive, despite the attacks from bandits and mutants. As far as I understood, eventually they divided into two factions. The pirates and the pioneers. Both similarly respected the word of some teacher, but seemed to differ in its interpretation. The pirates were more aggressive, ready to attack their perceived enemies wherever those might be, while the pioneers, whom I considered the more civilized of the two, appeared more isolationist, concentrated on protecting their turf. Had we met under different circumstances, we might have reached an agreement with them. That time though, we had definitely started off the wrong foot. I have no idea whom would my boots eventually go to though, as the conversation was rather suddenly joined by a giant mutant bear that chased my ill-fated captors away. This was not to be my last time meeting the master of the forest, as the locals called him. Setting off in the direction the surviving hunters vanished into, I found one of them mortally wounded by the bear. It was my backpack he recovered from the river that kept him from running fast enough. I was ready to help him in any way I could, but sadly it was too late. I wish I could do something for him as thanks for returning the vital piece of my gear I considered lost forever. I had to find Alyosha as soon as possible. I heard the hunters say that he was alive and awaiting a session of some forest court in their main camp up to the river. I had to free him before the verdict was passed. By the time I arrived at the camp, Alyosha had already left, but at least I was able to listen in on a session of the Instructors' Council, where the pirates openly told of their plans to attack the Aurora, while the pioneers insisted on sticking to purely defensive tactics. The hostility of the pirates was somewhat understandable, as ever since the war, the only visitors these people had were bandits and marauders, which they had to fight to the death. No wonder they weren't expecting anything nice from the crew. Despite their usual ferocity towards their enemies, manifesting withered bandit corpses hanging from the posts all over the valley, apparently there was a girl among the pioneers who, in secret from the others, let my friend go. Did she simply take pity on him, or did his fabled magnetism actually work? It certainly looked like this lady killer was not wrong in anticipating an adventure. I heard the locals say he was going towards the old church. Which we had noticed from the railroad, so that place seemed worth checking out. At the base of the church though, I was greeted by the master of the forest. Here this beast used to have no equals, but I thought that man is in fact the apex predator. The bear ruled the forest, but we once ruled the whole world. It should have been thankful to me for not being in the mood for killing. I only wanted to get to the church, otherwise the bear would have been dead. On my way, there was a tiny abandoned village, an outpost of the children of the forest, which the bandits had captured and used to rally their forces in preparation of a serious push towards the main camp. While the locals didn't exactly give me a warm welcome, I couldn't let the bandits torture their prisoners freely. After getting rid of the executioners, I left. I couldn't really wait for help from the camp to arrive. Time was running short. I am thinking a bit what this was, where this was. Alright, I think I know. That is, I think indeed the little village settlement besides the church. Instead of Alyosha in the church, I found Aurora, the girl who had set him free, as I suspected. Alyosha was going to wait for me at the dam, so that's where I went next. Olga told me that to get to the dam I needed a boat and even explained where to find one. I should remember to tell Alyosha she said hi. To reach the dam I had to cross a poisoned swamp where the pirates had set up a veritable fortress to defend the valley from the advancing mutants. I must give credit where credit is due. These people had courage to spare. They proudly stood in the way of the implacable threat dead set on destroying their tiny world. Just like our order defending the metro, losing people and ground, backing up ever further into the tunnels with every passing year. Fully understanding the futility of our struggle, but still refusing to surrender. Implacable. That's like I'm making it a quick learning moment, sorry. What the hell does that mean? Implacable. Unable to be appeased or placated. Alright. I think I know what it means. However, they would attack anything that moved and wouldn't hesitate to shoot the moment they saw me, so I had to be extremely careful. Luckily, I managed to pass through their fort unnoticed. Had I even won the fight against them all, what would happen to the valley without its defenders? After crossing the swamp, I ended up in dark maintenance tunnels, densely populated with my old friends, the spider bugs. Having reached the fresh air again, I finally saw Alyosha. The dam was really close and everything seemed to be coming together, but it was too early to celebrate. The master of the force was on our trail and catching up fast. There was no way of avoiding the fight to the death, and if not for Alyosha's timely intervention, the bear would have taken me along on a dive off the high cliff and straight onto sharp rocks. When Alyosha and I were getting ready to cross the final gorge before the dam, using a zipline, the children of the forest caught up with us. Luckily they were led by Olga, an instructor well respected by the hunters. Alyosha had the good luck of getting acquainted with her during his stay in their camp, so we were let go peacefully. Still, aboard the Aurora there were bad news waiting for us. Anna's health had gotten much worse. Alright, that's that one, and here's a new one. That's where we are now, autumn section. We all remained silent while the Aurora was running along the poisoned sea, held at bay by the dam. We believed we'd be back now, having seen the sword of Damocles hanging over the valley. We believed we'd be back now, having seen the sword of Damocles hanging over the valley. We knew it was not meant to be. Alyosha is especially worried. His Olga is there. Perhaps he will be able to warn her via radio and save the people there. What happens next? I have no idea. I'm ready for anything but one thing. Anna, please hold on. Without you I have nothing to live for, nothing to dream about. Doubly so, since if not for that dream of mine, you'd be all right now. Alright, before I read any other entries, which is not that much usually, I am stopping the radio because I really cannot hear myself talk almost. Yeah, I'm almost at the end of the episode, but maybe I can get through it in 5 minutes still. The crew, I am now looking at any new entries, and still that's very badly indicated, which is quite annoying. What is new and what is not. And now I really have to scroll like super slow all the way to the bottom and then just see if there's anything new. I sincerely hope that with the maps where you covered in the Caspian Desert, you will finally manage to persuade your father that we can forget about the war and finally settle somewhere. It's time we find a new home where Anna and I could finally live like a proper family is supposed to. Okay, I think here's the new section starting. Anna, my love, it's all my fault. I took too long to get you out of that damn silo where you got poisoned. God, what do I do? During Stepan and Katya's wedding, Anna just collapsed and started coughing up blood. The poison has been slowly destroying her lungs. We have nothing to treat this with. The best we can do is ease her pain and hope for a miracle. Anna keeps a brave facade, makes jokes. She's not no damsel, but a real fighter. But I just can't stop myself questions. Stop asking myself questions. Could I have prevented this? Is it all my fault? How do I save her? God, how much time does she even have left? My fault is wider and deeper than just that. It was I who dragged Anna, my dearest Anna, out of Moscow, out of the metro, where she could have lived a normal life, could have given birth to children, our children. Dragged her where? To her death. In the river valley, where the fresh air was supposed to cure her, the very valley we had to fight through half the country to reach, and Anna got even worse. Now her only chance is Renergan F, the medicine mentioned in the notes left by Katya's mother. And to give Anna that chance, I'm ready to die. We are going to Novosibirsk. Alright, a couple of other small character entries, but I will reading those in the next episode. Guys, hope you enjoyed. It's a bit of an exposition lore episode, but yeah, that's also part of a deep playthrough. Hope to see you in the next one. For the meantime, do not forget, always do keep on gaming. See you later.